Okay, so we are 9 people already, and we are going to start. Um, and what we are going to do, I don't know if you remember that I told you that this week we are going to learn how you can mark the tones in a sentence. Last week, we also focused on making a distinction, right? Distinguishing between the sentences that have rising falling and the sentences that have rising intonation. I know we spent, there is a motorcycle over there, I know. We spent a good time, a great amount of time discovering when you have rising falling and when you have rising intonation. So let me show you. I know I didn't say good afternoon or good evening, I guess. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't, but anyways, good evening, everyone. Sorry about that. You know, we are in a rush here. And here we are, okay? Let me show you this. Here we are. I know you don't care about that. Let me go here. Okay. Now, just as a review, okay, just to refresh what we saw last week, don't forget that so far we have talked about two types of intonation. We have the first one that was in chapter 5, which is rising falling intonation. And the last one that we had in chapter 6, that is rising intonation, okay? Don't forget that I told you that rising falling means to go up and to go down. Give me a second, guys. There's some music outside there. And that's very far from me, you know? That's a high volume music. Okay, anyways, so here we go here. So in rising means to go up and falling means to go down, okay? Now, which sentences are the ones that have rising falling? Well, sorry, we said last week that the questions that start with a WH, including how, okay? Those are the questions that have rising falling. Then we have the statements and we have the commands. Commands. Yes, Victoria, you are a ghost. I see. I see you're a ghost. And then for the rising intonation, what we have is only questions. So only the questions that start with auxiliaries. Auxiliaries like do, will, would, can, could, and we have be, right? The verb to be. Those are the questions that can be answered with a yes or with a no. So in those cases is when we put rising intonation in a sentence. If you have any question in the meantime that I'm explaining to you, you can raise your hand. I stop and explain whatever you need me to explain to you. So there we continue. Sorry about that. Now, let's do this type of review exercise. I'm going to give you 5 minutes for you to decide which one has rising and which one has rising falling, okay? So take your time. Right now is 7:07. I'm going to go on mute, and at 7:12, I'm gonna come back and start asking to see what you say. Rising or rising falling. I'm gonna go on mute now. All right, it is 7:12 already. I thought it was a lot of time there, but anyways, I knew you could have done it like in 2 minutes, but I just wanted to give everybody a chance to think about and see what it was. All right, so we're gonna start. I see 3 people so far. We have Haseli, you're gonna go to the number 1. Maria Isabel, you're gonna go to the number 2. Berjoris, you're gonna go to the number 3. Victoria, you're gonna go to the number 4. Annabelle, you're gonna go to the number 5. And Catherine, you go to the number 6. I hope that you got your numbers because I'm gonna forget. All right, so we're gonna start then. Number 1, go on.
Eh, um, rising, falling.
Okay, we have rising, falling for number 1. Very good. Number 2.
The number 2 is rising intonation.
All right, very good. Rising intonation. Number 3.
Number 3 is the rising falling.
Rising, falling. Number 3. Number 4.
Is rising.
Rising intonation. Number 4.
Yes, rising intonation.
Okay, number 5. What do you guys have next? Number 5. Who's number 5?
Rising intonation.
Rising intonation. What about number 6 then, Catherine?
It's rising, falling.
Rising, falling. Okay. So all of you are correct, but one. Can you tell me which is the one that is not correct? It says rising,
Me,
falling.
teacher.
Oh, okay. Go on, Maria.
I think the number 4 is not correct because it is rising, falling intonation
Okay.
because it is an imperative sentence.
Okay. Number 4, very good, Maria. Number 4 is an imperative sentence. Maria says, if it is imperative, it is a command. And we said that commands are rising, falling. So be careful with that. Very good. All right, so then let's continue. If you have a question, you can ask now so I can answer to you. Do you have any questions about this little exercise? No, very good. Don't forget, number 1 is rising, falling because it is a statement. Number 2 is rising intonation because it's a question that can be answered with a yes or a no. Number 3, rising, falling because it's a WH question. Number 4, Maria said it. Number 5 is a yes, no question. And number 6 is a statement. That's right. Number 6 is rising, falling. So then we continue. Okay, now the question is, how is it that I'm going to mark the tones in a sentence? How am I going to start marking the tones? Well, very easy. This is easy. You only have to follow 4 steps, okay? The step number 1 is just the one that we did. You have to identify the type of intonation that the sentence has, right? That's the step number 1. Then step number 2, in the sentence, okay, you have to look for the last content word in the sentence, the last content word. And this is what I told you that you had to study chapter number 4, because in chapter 4 is where we learned what is content and what is function, okay? That's the second step. Now, the step number 3 is that you are going to start marking the tones normal. All the time, you're going to start with a normal tone. It doesn't matter if the first word is content or function. It doesn't matter. You always going to start with a normal tone. All right. And then the step number 4 is that you have to give the high tone to the last content word. Okay, it doesn't matter if it is rising intonation or if it is rising falling. You have to give the high tone to the last content word. And I'm going to show you that now, okay? I'm going to show you that now. Now think about the 4 steps. Step number 1, identify the type of intonation. That is 1. Then look for the last content word in the sentence, okay? That's step number 2. Step number 3, start with a normal tone all the time. And step number 4, give the high tone to the last content word. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to write a sentence. We're gonna start with a rising falling, okay? We're gonna start marking the tones in the rising falling, but we're gonna do it step by step. Let me get out of here and I'm going to show you, I'm gonna show you the board and we're gonna start from 0, okay? I'm going to give you 1 sentence. Maybe I'm breaking up over there a little bit, but just bear with me that the connection is not so good. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you can see my, if you can see the board. Here we go. We're gonna start with a very easy sentence, okay? Very easy. I like to use this one, okay? This is the one. We're gonna put it here, right? Now I have a question for you. If you know it, if you know the answer, you can raise your hand. I'm gonna give a little bit of space here because I want you to see how I mark the tones, okay? It's a sentence. I just gave the space to have enough room to put the lines. So one question for you. First step, identify the type of intonation. This is rising or rising falling intonation. I love you. Do you have rising or rising falling? Raise your hand if you know. Rising or rising falling? Aseli, what do you say?
Rising, falling.
Okay, rising falling intonation, and you know because it is a statement. Okay, now the second step. Do you remember the second step? What is the second step? You forgot, huh? Second step is you need to know. Yes?
I got it.
Yes, go on.
Look for the last content word in the
Okay,
sentence.
so you have to look for, you have to find out what the last content word in the sentence is. Now, one question, if any one of you know, what is the last content word in this sentence?
Love.
Love. Okay, good. Love. So you know that love is the last content word. Very good. Okay, so now the step number 3 that I have to follow now, what is it? What's the step number 3? Oh, I see you.
It says,
Hold on, Victoria. Danny has his, yeah.
okay.
It says that always start with a normal tone.
Okay, so as my first word is love, I'm going to start with a normal tone in love. And you know where I have to stop? Where do I have to stop is the question. Where am I going to stop putting the normal tone? What's the step number 4? That's the step number 4. Praise me.
And give the high tone to the last content word.
Okay, so we said in the step number 3 that love is the last content word, right? Or was that step number 3 or number 2? I forget. Anyways, I'm getting twisted here because I'm explaining and thinking at the same time. So we know that love is the last content word, right? And in the step number 3, now I remember, we start marking normal, right? And we in the last step, we have to give the high tone to the last content word, right? Now, what do I do now? Do I continue with the high tone or do I give the low tone to you here, to you? What do I do now? Do I continue with the high tone or do I give the low tone to you? Oh, I see. But Joris, what do you say?
Teacher, I think is a low tone.
I have to give the low tone to you. And I want you to notice, the difference, the distance that you can see between the normal tone that is just right under the word and the low tone that is some distance below the word. So don't get confused with that, because when we are marking the tones, we believe that the low tone is the same as the normal tone. So the difference is in the distance from the word. So be careful with that. Now, I have a question for you. Why is it that I gave the low tone here and I didn't continue with the high tone? Why did I go for low tone and I didn't continue with the high tone? Why, Annabelle? Why?
Because it's a sentence that and rising falling.
Right. It's a sentence that has rising, falling intonation. And if we are working with rising, falling, that means that we have to give high tone, rising, and low tone, falling. Okay, rising, falling. Very good. Um, it looks like it is easy, right? You only have to follow the steps. Now we're gonna continue with rising falling because we are not done yet. There are more than that. Now I want you to think about, and I have this question for you now. The question is, oops. Oh, hold on. I'm getting this twisted here. All right, I have to put another text here. I'm gonna put it here. What's going on? Give me a second, guys. Oh, here it is. Okay, now I can move this, I guess. No, I cannot move it. Ah, that's killing me. All right, now, do you remember what a shift is? What is a shift? What is a shift? Shift. What is a shift? Let's see if you guys remember. Haseli, what is a shift?
I think because I don't remember, but the line that is vertical,
Well, yes, it's a vertical line. It is represented by a vertical line, but what is it? What is it? What is it? What it does? What is the function of the shift? Do you guys know? Praise me. What is the function of a shift?
And I can tell what is a shift. And usually the movement from one tone to another and take place between syllables, and
Okay.
it's called shift.
Very good, Raise Me. You know, I like that definition because you gave it complete. So a shift is the movement from one tone to another, and it happens between syllables, okay? So at the beginning of the subject, we learned that words are divided by syllables. And we even went further. We said that one syllable is a vowel sound, okay? So now Now, I'm going to repeat the same sentence, but I'm going to change something, okay? Now, I have another sentence here. You see, I have almost the same sentence, almost the same. It's just an example, okay? I could have used a girl name, but anyways. So here I have, I love Marcus, okay? Does this have rising, falling, or rising intonation? Very quick. Anybody can say it. You don't have to raise your hand. Rising or rising, falling?
Rising, falling.
Okay, very good. That's the first step. Second step, you have to look for the content word. What is the last content word over there, if you guys know?
I think it is Marcus.
Marcus, you see, Marcus is the last content word because Marcus is a noun. It is a name, right? So, third step, I start marking the tones normal, okay? And now, where am I going to stop then? If I start marking normal, where do I have to stop with a normal tone is the question.
Or on love.
On love, okay, so love here, love here, love here.
The next
No.
one.
No,
No, you stop in E. You
at the
stop
end of
in E.
love, okay, here, right? Is it there where I have to stop?
I think yes.
Okay, very good. Because you have to stop in front of the last content word. And Maria said that Marcus is the last content word. Now, I have to give the high tone to this word, right? But what do I do now is the question. What do I do? Because do you remember the type of intonation that we are working with? What is the type of intonation that we have in this sentence?
Shift.
What do you say? What is the type of intonation that we have? The intonation, rising or rising?
Rising, falling.
I'm sorry.
Rising,
Rising,
falling.
falling.
So that means that we have to go up and we have to go down over there. So what do I do now is the question.
A shift.
A shift where? Where do I do the shift?
Hmm. That's a good question.
Yes, because I stop in the shift, you see? I stop in the shift.
Mhm.
Now I want to give the high tone and then I want to give the low tone. So I don't know how to do it now.
But if it is vertical, I imagine that you have to cover Marcus. I don't know.
The whole Marcus, but look at this. If I put Marcus, high tone, where am I going?
Not like that. No, in a vertical way.
In a vertical.
Haseli says it's vertical.
But I
I
am,
trust her.
but
I'm
I am,
trusting her.
but look, I am in a vertical line right now. So what do I do? I am here. What do I do now?
Go down.
Go down? How? I cannot go down because I have to go up and down.
Yeah.
So I cannot go down.
Sir, I think that you need to cross the A and the R on Marcus, like to cross over.
All right, very good. Who was that? Danny.
Danny,
Danny,
yes.
you are learning, Danny. Guys,
My friend
remember,
Danny.
remember that Marcus is not a monosyllable word. How many syllables do you have in Marcus?
2.
2.
2 syllables. And Danny, can you repeat again what a shift is? What is a shift? Can you repeat it?
So it's like when we, I don't remember exactly what raise me says, but I will
Oh,
explain it my way. It's
uh-huh,
like to go over that word, which is the
uh-huh.
last one.
Yes,
It's like it's not to go vertical, but it's like a cross line from.
uh-huh.
It's like slide or
Uh,
something like that.
are you sure it's a slide? Remember that a slide is not a shift.
No, I
Slide,
don't mean about that. No, I don't mean about this. Like it's like to cross over those letters there by Marcus, but
okay.
I don't mean like a slide. It's like the way to explain the name of the things, which I don't know
I
how to
know what
say.
you,
But I know that you have to go over Marcus.
Between
I, I,
syllables.
I know that you know. I know that you know. Yes, someone said something there. Who was it?
Me.
Who
Between
is,
syllables.
who is you?
Raise me.
Oh, raise me. Okay. You
The
see,
movement,
this
the
raise me.
movement
Before
from
you
one
go on,
tone.
raise me. Listen to me. Did you listen to what I said? Who is you? We are breaking the grammar rules, right? Because you are supposed to say, who are you, right?
Yes.
But in this case, it is accepted to say, who is you? Because I don't know who you are. So who is you, right? So I just want to, because I keep repeating this and nobody have told me that I was making a mistake. So I wanted to clarify that. Anyways, okay, go on, raise me. Don't pay attention to me. Go on.
Now, a shift is the movement from one tone to another and take place
Yes.
between a syllable.
Right, very good. That's it. If we have two syllables in Marcus, we can do a separation. We can give the high tone to the first syllable and the low tone to the second syllable. That's it. And as Danny said, Danny, I know what you're saying, Danny. I'm sorry, you know, I don't have so steady pulse here, so that's why you see it is moving. Sorry about that. So as Danny said, right? You see? Here it is.
Yes.
Here it is. That shift, which is not a such straight vertical line, sorry, that's the one that it goes there. Why? Why do we use a shift in here? Look, why do we use a shift? Very easy. Because as we are working with rising falling intonation, we have to give the high tone and the low tone obligated at the end. So as we have a word, as the last content word has more than one syllable, what we do is that we give the high tone to the first syllable and the low tone to the rest of the syllables. It doesn't matter if you have a word that has 3 or 4 syllables. What you're gonna do is you're gonna give the high tone to the first syllable and then you give the low tone to the rest of the syllables. So be careful with this. We use shift when in the rising falling intonation, the last content word, listen to this, don't get confused, the last word of the sentence, okay? The last word of the sentence is a content word and it has more than one syllable, as you can see over here, okay? As you can see there. The last content word is, it has more than one syllable. So what you do is that you give the high tone to the first and the low tone to the following. But I'm gonna give you another case because maybe you're gonna get confused and I don't want you to get confused, okay? Let me give you another example of the same shift because I want you to be clear about this. Hold on. Let me give you another example. What we're gonna do now is that we are going to include, I'm gonna do another sentence, a different sentence. What the hell is going on? Oh, here it is. Here it is. Let me give you another sentence. Maria is happy with you. Okay. Maria is happy with you. Think about this. Is this rising, falling, or rising intonation?
Rising, falling.
Rising, falling. The question is why? Why is that rising, falling?
Because it's an statement.
It's a statement, very easy. So step number one, covered, rising, falling. Step number two, look for the last content word. What's the last content word in the sentence?
You.
Are you sure?
I'm
You,
guessing.
you, you is a personal pronoun. So any pronoun, none of the pronouns are content words. All of them are function. All of the pronouns are function words. But Jerry says happy. Okay, happy is the last content word. What happened with with? What is this then? With? Is that function or content? What do you think?
Function.
Function.
I think it's function.
Because that's a what? That's a what? What type of word is that?
An article.
A preposition.
Yeah, it's a preposition. Okay, so we have it. Step number one, rising, falling. Step number two, happy is the last content word. Okay, step number three, start marking normal. And you're gonna stop where you have the content word, right? The last content word. So I start normal and I stop in front of happy. I'm gonna give the high tone to happy, right? And what do I do with the following words? What do I do with those two words? With you, with you. What do I do with them? What do you think? See the first example.
You need to put as a low tone.
Low tone for all of them, right? Because they are function words. Look, it is the same case as this one. Check. It is the same thing. The only thing is, in the first one, you have only one word, and in the second one, you have two words. You see? It's the same case. Who's writing? Let me see. I cannot even see now who's writing. I don't see it. Yeah, all right. Okay. Do you have any questions so far about these ones? Any questions? I have one more for I have one more for this, okay? And I'm going to erase this. Erase that. And I'm gonna keep the middle one only. I'm just gonna keep the one in the middle. That one I'm gonna keep. And I'm going to give you, because remember that in rising, falling, I'm here on rising, falling because this is the most difficult. Rising is very easy. So when we get to rising, you will see that you will understand right away. So if we have shift, there is another name that we also have in rising, falling. Do you remember? Shift and what? Shift and
Glide.
And glide. Very
Glide.
Very good. Shift and glide, she said. Now let's see when we use glide. Okay, let's see that. Okay, we have a word here. Okay, I focus on statements, and statements have what? Rising or rising, falling?
Rising,
Statement
falling.
is rising, falling.
Very good. Now, step number 1 is covered. We know it's rising, falling. Step number 2, look for the last content word. What's the last content word in the sentence?
John.
John.
Enjoy.
Why enjoy? The last content word?
Being.
Being. Okay.
No, oh my God.
We have many now. We have enjoy, being,
We are
enjoy.
confused
Which is
because
the
it
last
says,
one?
1 second, teacher. It says that content word are nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and demonstrative or interrogative. But right here, the last one is John,
Yes. And John is what?
because John is a noun,
Okay, very
noun,
good. Very good.
a noun.
Very good. So John is the last content word because remember, in one sentence, you have more than one content word. So you have to look for the last one. Okay? Be careful with that. Look for the last content word. So here we have it. We have step number 1, rising, falling. Step number 2, John is the last content word. Step number 3, start marking the tones, normal, and stop in front of your last content word. Now, can anybody tell me the definition of glide? What is a glide? Maria.
Well, the glide is the voice slides from one to another, while it is pronouncing a syllable.
Okay. Can you repeat that? I couldn't hear because I want to listen to the last part. It is the voice slide. Yes.
Yeah, I said that it is the voice slides from one tone to another, while it is pronouncing a syllable.
Right. Okay, very good. Look, Maria said glide is when the voice slides from one tone to another in the same syllable. Okay, in the same syllable. So what happens here? How many syllables do you have in the word John? How many syllables do you have there?
One.
Only one, because you only have one vowel sound, which is a, John, John, a. All right, now, as we are working with rising, falling needs obligatorily that you put high tone and low tone. It doesn't matter. So as we only have one word, which is monosyllable, what we have to do is that we have to go up, right? And we have to go down in the same syllable. Here, you have to put it next to the vowel. And if you can, you have to put it in the middle of the vowel, because in the middle of the vowel is where the sound goes up and goes down, where the tone goes up and goes down. That's the difference between glide and shift. Shift happens between syllables. You see? Here, but glide happens in the same syllable. How do you know when you are going to use a shift and when you're going to use a glide? Very easy. Look, look at this, focus on the glide, okay? For you to use a glide, you need two things. Number one, the last word of the sentence has to be the content word. The last word, you see, the last word of the sentence has to be the content word. That is the first condition that you need for that. So when you see that, you know that you have to put a glide. Okay, but there is a second factor that you have to take into account. Besides being the last word, which is the content word, right? This word has to be monosyllable. It needs to have only one syllable, right? So that's when you use glide. When the last content word is the last word in the sentence and this word is monosyllable, that's when you use glide. If it doesn't meet these two principles, then it wouldn't be a glide. Then you will have to use a shift. Someone raise hands? I don't know. Let me see. Someone is writing. Yeah, monosyllable, yeah. Only one syllable. That's true, majority. Let's see. So, let me stop here. Yes, Maria Isabel?
I'm getting confused. I want to know why John is a
Hmm?
you said function or content word?
John is content word because John is a name.
Okay. Now I got it. Sorry, I saw
Teacher,
you said function.
Don't
Sorry.
worry. All right. No, it's content. Sorry,
teacher.
I made a mistake. Yes, Victoria.
Um, I mean because that phrase is about John, right?
What do you mean? Sorry. Victoria, are you there? I forgot. What's going on? Go.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I
Yes.
mean, it's a content word because it's about John, right?
No, it is a content word because John is a name. Like for you to see if it is content or if it is function, you need to take into account two things. You need to know the grammatical name of the words. You need to know them. Uh, for example, look at this. Enjoy and being are verbs in there and their function words. Sorry, content words, right? So we have three content words in here. So you have to focus on the last one. So you need to recognize what is a content and what is a function in the sentence and individually,
I got it.
right? This is the time for you to ask. Ask now. If you didn't understand anything, tell me so I can go back because we have no more chances. Bergeris, go on.
Teacher, I understand the glide, but the shift I
The
understand more
sh-
or less.
no, the shift, look, the difference between the shift and the glide is this. The glide is a monosyllable word and the shift is whether a word that has more than one syllable or you have the last content word is not the last word in the sentence. If you say I love you, as I show you, right? Sorry, I'm writing with this. I should have used the other. You start marking this and you put it like that, right? You see, love is the last content word, you see, but love is not the last word in the sentence. So that means that you are free to give the high tone to love and give the low tone to you, right? But in this case, you see, in this case, you cannot do that because the last word in the sentence is the last content word. That's the point. Here is different because here, the last word is the last content word, but it has more than one syllable, which means that you can give the high tone to the first syllable and the low tone to the following ones. Who's writing?
Well, teacher, and you say the shift when the content word is in at the end, you
Mhm.
need divided in two parts, in two syllables.
Yes, if you can divide it, if you can. If it has more than one.
Okay.
If you cannot divide it, then you will have to do the like.
Okay, I understand more.
Right. You have to study the chapter 6 because there you have many examples of how to mark the tones and how you can apply mark the tones in the sentences with rising and rising falling. And I know that I have like 2 videos behind that I haven't uploaded them. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure that tomorrow I'll see if I leave it uploading tonight so you can watch the videos too, and this one as well. Now that was the part for the rising falling intonation. That's the rising falling. Now the rising is very easy. Why? You'll see this. Let me show you. I'm gonna erase all of this. We're almost finished here. The only thing I'm missing is to show you the rising intonation. We know that rising intonation are questions that can be answered with a yes or no, right? Do you like candies? That's a question, yes or no, right? Will you go with her? That's a yes or no, right? What else can we use? We can use should I do it? That's a yes or no. So we have 3 yes or no questions here that we can mark the tones in each one of them. I'm gonna give one extra space for me to have enough room, as I said, to put the lines. So here we are. Now, this is rising intonation because of 2 reasons. They can be answered with a yes or a no, and all of them are made up with auxiliaries. You see, do, will, should. All of them are auxiliaries. Now, if you want to mark the tones here, you follow the same steps. You identify if it is rising or rising falling. You have to look for the last content word. Now, in the number 1, in the number 1, what is the last content word in the number 1? See if you know. If you speak in Victoria, you have the microphone off.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. Do you guys know which is the last content word in the number 1?
Like.
Are you sure?
Wait, teacher.
Yes.
Why you talk about me? Because I talk too much?
What did I say about you?
You, you asked me if I have the microphone
No,
on,
because when you are
and I told you
talking,
no because I talk too much. Okay, I'm
no,
not gonna talk.
no, it's not because of that. It's because if you are talking over there, I know when you're talking because I can see your screen is green when you are talking. So I didn't know if you wanted to say something and you had your microphone off. So as I can see, you guys have a confusion, right? Now, candies, what are candies? Candies is something sweet that you eat. So candy is a name for the sweets. Candy is a content word because it has meaning. So if you have candies, the last content word, you go to the step number 3, you start como, you stop in front of the last content word and you give the high tone to the last content word because you are working in rising intonation. And rising means that when you give the high tone, you continue with the high tone. It doesn't matter. Now, sentence number 2, you know is rising intonation. The last content word in the sentence number 2, what is the only content word in the sentence number 2?
Go.
Go. So what you do is that you start marking normal, you stop on go, right? You give the high tone to go, and whatever is after that has the high tone, because you are working with rising intonation. And rising intonation says that when you find the last content word, you give the high tone to it and the high tone to whatever it comes after that content word.
Wow, so that's easier than the rising falling.
I told you. I told you. And then in the sentence number 3, you have that do is the last content word. So you start marking normal, you stop on do, you give the high tone to do and to whatever comes after it. That's it. It doesn't matter what comes after. If it comes, look here, there is nothing after the last content word. Here you have more and here you only have one. It doesn't matter. You give the high tone to that and whatever after that. And that's it. That's rising intonation. That's how you mark the tones. That's it. That's it there. Here, just to come back, right? And as a refresh, look at this. You need to know that the glide is only used in rising falling, okay? Glide is only used in rising falling. You don't use glide in the rising intonation sentences when you are marking. And the glide is used when the last word of the sentence is a content word. But this word at the same time is a monosyllable word. That's what I just told you, okay? And we use shift for rising falling and also for rising intonation. Let me see if I have a few examples here that I can show you. You see, these are examples of rising falling. We already did it, okay? As you can see here, talks is the last content word. So we give the high tone to it and the low tone to the following. Here we have the police. Police is the last content word. It has 2 syllables, po and lease. So we give the high tone to the first one and we give the low tone to the following. I love you, which is my favorite sentence. You have it there. And I have here, come here. You see, here we have to use a glide because the last word of the sentence is the content word, but it only has 1 syllable, which is E, because you say here, here, right? So that's how you do it. Then I have some examples of the rising intonation that I just explained to you. And as you can see here, you give the high tone to whatever it comes after the last content word, as you can notice in the example number 3. And that's it. Now that was a homework that I have for you, but we're not gonna do the homework. That homework we'll do it on the OEM platform. And there I'm just gonna leave that. Be ready because in the homework that I'm going to leave you, this homework, you will have to do it in the notebooks. You have to write clearly and you have to leave space for you to mark the notes, the tones, I might say. Just wait for the homework to be on the platform. I will give you the instructions. If you have questions, I know that many of you are going to get confused. I recommend you to go back to chapter 4 for you to know what is content and what is function, because if you get confused between content and function words, you won't be able to mark the tones. Although you might know which is with rising falling and which is with rising, at the moment of marking the tones, you will have a problem if you don't know. And that's it. That's it. Now, this is the time for questions. It is already 8 o'clock. So if you have a question, ask now so I can refresh, go back, and answer anything that you might want to have answered. The ghost of Victoria. There she is. So I see no questions. I like that. All right. So then,
Victoria, pero...
that's Victoria, Julian.
Dios mío, pero esta ya está loca.
That's the ghost of Victoria. Yes.
It's a prank, teacher. It's a prank.
Yes, that's a surprise, she says. Right, so then guys, I will see you then. I'll see you when I see you, I guess. So
Thank you so much, sir.
all right.
Too many things to study, sir.
Yes. Study that we are at the end.
Yes.